This is Anthony over at Woodyah. Today I just wanted to show you about the 043. I'm really pressed for time, but I felt it was really an important time to talk about this tool. If you're making any boxes, this is one of the more important tools because you can make a rabbet along the bottom and do very small work, and it's not a complicated plane to set up. So I just wanted to show you guys real quick some of the accessories and what of this stuff we do. I think I'm the only aftermarket maker of these. We offset the hole to line it up with the blade so everything holds smooth. The original one actually can't do the blade tightening as good as mine, so that's always a perk. We made the depth stops because these are always missing. A lot of these, basically, they go in a drawer, and that's what happens. We make the long and the short rods for these things. I personally like the smaller ones because with this plane it's not a complicated setup like we said, so you basically just put the short ones on and you go. One of the other things that you should know about this plane, or any sort of plow plane that you use, right, I want to give a little education, is you always start at the end of the board. The reason I like doing this is because if you start here and your blade's all jacked up, you're just gonna crunch, right? We don't want to do that, right? So always start here towards the end, push, make sure you have a good, then you just start moving back, and you go back, and then as you go back, you're gonna bottom out with the depth stop, and you know you're right, so then you go back a little more, and then you want the full strokes, right? Because if you screw up here, the next 600 strokes is gonna help you recover. You screw up here, it's a lot harder. So let's just remember, we always start at the front of the board and work our way back, because we're removing material and it gets smoother and smoother. So let me show you guys real quick how to just set the blade. So this right here is the board. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna do a couple different things. If we wanna see, we only wanna make this slot, right? Because this is what I'm gonna stick in, right? We wanna get it to go in that far, right? So we'll go ahead and we set this. Right, you would do this normally with a ruler, but I'm just showing you. Then we put our blade in. You always have to remember that when it goes in the plane, right, you want to get the wood going upwards, right? So you don't want to dig, you want to glide, okay? So that should always help you know how to put the blade in. You always want to glide. So you put it in, you peek it out a little from the bottom, not a lot at all, because remember, this is going to dig if you go deep, and that's the general rule with hand planes themselves. If you go too deep, it's going to dig, and then you have a terrible experience. So, right there, super deep. I like to keep my finger down there, and you can feel it happening. Okay. You want to press in, make sure there's no gaps, right? That's what these thumb holes are for, I feel. You can get in there and make sure the blade's set against the wall. You don't want this blade tilting any which way, because as you go, it'll start veering, right? So now where do we want to put our blade? Let's make this nice and short. All right, so like I said, we're going to start down here, and we're going to work our way back, gradually back, and then the full stroke. So let's see. So that was a little deep, right? So that's why we decided to do that. We make sure this is nice and tight, because we don't want this fence moving any which way. So I'm gonna get the blade a little higher. Okay. There you go. And you go all the way back with it. It's a quick tool, right? And then you'll start feeling it. It's gonna start, you hear it? It's more of a slide than a wood, right? So watch. See that? There it is. No wood. But if I go back more, right here, see that? Now we just hit the opening. So now we're working on it and we're sliding. But if you look, we're set perfectly. So these are the tools that we make. We are super excited. I like the short arms, but we also have the longer arms. When you get these sometimes, and these are all pitted, just remember that for things to be nice, you always want them to be nice and smooth. You want things to move smooth. These are not so expensive, so they're worthwhile just upgrading. So when you go to use it, it slides with ease. All right, guys. Any other questions, reach out. This is Anthony from Woodyah. You see how that blade is held tight? That's what I'm talking about.